Hello, my name is Sergio Marrero, and this video is on why consulting, or rather, is consulting for me? Although this is a personal question that everyone has to weigh for themselves, if they are considering consulting, I believe that there are pros and cons that anyone entering consulting has to consider. And I will share some of the pros and cons that I considered entering consulting during this video, and then some that after going through the experience I would add. So I would start with the different areas I will talk about under pros. Is the variety, the training, the travel, and the community and the network. So in terms of variety, what do you mean variety? You're working on different projects with different clients, potentially in different industries and service areas. You're moving from team to team. Working with having that flexibility is pretty unique. It keeps you engaged consistently, because not only clients, you're moving from company to company and working on their challenging business needs, but also the projects change in duration, your team is changing, the industry may be completely different, the pace of learning is intense. And that in itself is very unique. The closest thing to this variety offered by a single company are the leadership development programs, where they rotate, where you're able to rotate within the individual company. So the variety is amazing, and that training is great. That's different training in itself, but so this area, training, I'll talk about. There's online and in person. I'm referring to larger firms. Usually they have a breadth of training available to you. They have senior management that's offering the training. Sometimes this training can be national, even global, depending at what level you reach in the firm. You are the product, or the instrument rather, that's delivering the service. So the firm is investing in you, and that investment is pretty amazing, and the training is usually unparalleled compared to different industries. On the other side, you have the travel. You'll be traveling nationally, and I could say sometimes internationally. Travel isn't guaranteed. You could work out of your home office if you prefer, but it is all dependent on the client need and where. So usually you're going to the client. So this is it varies, but the travel is an added benefit. You'll be staying in hotels, flying on airplanes, and I would say the more the benefit of this is the points and the miles that you get to keep. And then as you're talking to different consultants, I would ask about alternative travel. If it's cheaper to send you to somewhere you want to go rather than home, you can probably take advantage of that, and that's an added benefit. But also you're not going home, so that's another thing. The community and the network. I would say Fridays at the office. Sometimes there are happy hours. You're meeting colleagues locally, and overall, they're exceptional people. The consulting firms hire consultants because of their education and their previous experience, and they're usually very talented, and just being surrounded by that is pretty an amazing experience in itself, and to be a part of that. So those are I would say, the pros. On the other side, you'll have the cons, and the areas I think about is the time commitment, um, unpredictability. Oh, didn't spell that one right. But unpredictability, and then the travel. So let's start with time. The time that you'll have to commit, and I'll say normally you're going out to the client Monday, sometimes, so that's first flight out on Monday or last flight in, and coming back on the last flight on Thursday at the client. Sometimes you'll have to work weekends, but that's at the client, but that's rare, or depends on the firm. Again, your work days, I'll be conservative and say 12 to 14-hour working days, and this is all client. And then on top of that, you have firm activities. What are examples of firm activities? We talked about the networking. You're networking sometimes during the week, but also there may be other activities on Fridays that go later into the day. You have this training that, although it is great, it is additional. Community service is something you may be able to engage in. There are resource groups. You may be expected to participate in a leadership capacity in those groups, and there is eminence. The eminence are research papers and white papers. So those are different areas you might be expected to contribute to in addition to your client work. So unpredictable. You may not know what project you're going to be on next. You may not know where you're going next week, the length of time you're going for, the activity that you may be engaging in. This may change from one project to the next, but also because the client need is being assessed, and there may be challenges that come up, which is part of the reason the hours are so intense. Is you need to be completely flexible to meet the needs of the client. That's what you're there to do, is serve the client. So the unpredictability in terms of scheduling different things can be a burden. Also, travel. Even though travel is a benefit, also you are traveling where the client is, and that is something you have to consider. You could be urban, rural, you're consistently flying, so that may be exhausting, and it may wear on you in general. So I would say this in general are, this is an example of the pros and cons that you need to consider when thinking about entering consulting. A question I get consistently is, what about work-life balance? And when I think of work-life balance, I think of something, a quote from Jack Welch, where he says, "There's no such thing as work-life balance. There are only work-life choices." So, and I completely agree with his statement. I think in doing this kind of job, it's going to be great training. I did it because of the training and how it would prepare you, but in the end, the exceptional people are what made the experience amazing. But I would also be aware, because of the time commitment, you may have personal interests, such as playing guitar, or whether it be going out during the week, or maybe making YouTube videos on consulting for other people, and you won't have much time to do things like that. So that's an example, that the impact on your personal relationships, the impact on your professional relationships outside the firm, your family life, since you're going to be challenging, you might be traveling a good deal, and then also your physical health. So what I would say overall is be aware of the pros and cons and the work-life choices you will be faced with, and decide before you make a decision to enter consulting what is best for you and what your priorities are. Hope that helped.